We're live. Hello, everybody. We're doing this. Oh my gosh, we're doing the thing. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Not Quite Novelists. This is the show where new friends are made, literally, and new worlds are built live on the spot each and every episode. Finger guns. My name is Savannah. If you don't already know me, then how did you get here? I really want to know, actually. Please tell me. And with me today is the internet's favorite pocket unicorn, Misfit Playland. Hello, Misfit.
Hi, hello. How are we doing today?
How are you doing, Misfit? I'm excited.
I am too. I think my brain is more excited than my mouth can talk.
You know what? I get it. I get that, yeah. Hello, Kiltman. Hi, Aurora. Hi, Eric. Everybody's in chat. We got so many friends
Oh
in
my
chat
gosh.
today.
Hi, so many friends. Hi, friends.
Well, I'm so excited that everybody's here, and you, Misfit, you're part of a very important and very special stream tonight. Do you know why? Do you want to know why?
I want to know why. Tell me.
This is our first sponsored stream. Not Quite Novelist is officially sponsored by All City Print. All City Print is your one-stop print shop. If you have a brand or are an artist or just want some really cool merch of your own design, All City Print literally has everything. My phone's going off. All City Print literally has everything. They've got t-shirts, they do embroidery, stickers, banners, even, I gotta show this off, custom engraving. And you can custom engrave anything. You can engrave notebooks, you can engrave these guys right here. That is my logo on a tumbler that I got custom engraved from All City Print. Aurora, I do have a chat command for it. I'll go ahead and drop this here. There we go. And what's awesome about Not Quite Novelist is now, now All City Print, if you use the promo code Not Quite Novelist, when you go and ask for a quote and order 24 pieces or more, you get a free order of 50 stickers of whatever your logo or art is, which is, that's...
Sick.
Yeah, I mean,
that's so sick.
50 is a lot. Like, you think, like, for stickers, I carried about 50 with me, like, each day during PAX Unplugged, and it's, like, I had a chunk with me of my stickers that I did get printed at All City Print. So, yes, definitely go check them out. And that is in chat. It'll take you to the link where you can go and get a quote for that, so. Yay! That's so exciting. I was so excited to do that ad read. I like wrote out a whole little script for myself and like recited it like 3 times to make sure I was like, I have this memorized.
You did great. It was perfect.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Now go celebrate with me. Now go order some t-shirts or something.
Do the thing.
And with that, I think we're just kind of ready to get started. So, Misfit, if you don't know how this works, here's what we're going to do.
I do not. Teach me.
I have 2 teacups here. One of them has a bunch of themes, and the other has a bunch of tones. I'm going to draw one slip of paper from each teacup. And then you and I are just going to make characters. We're going to build, like, the world with it, and we're going to...
I feel like I need paper.
You know what's really funny is I don't really like take notes on these, but I think that's just because I'm the one who gets to listen back on like editing and stuff like that.
I just want to make
Um,
sure I don't miss anything.
yeah, yeah, no, that's fine. You'll see above us, I've got theme and tone there. I will be adding those. Um, oh no, interesting. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I'm also
Uh-oh.
not going to tell you what our theme and tone is until they pop up on screen, so you just get to learn with the rest of us.
Well, crap. I was
Oh
supposed
shoot, that was
aren't I
not.
the chosen one? I'm supposed to be like special and know before everybody else. This is bull. I love it.
No, never. I love the little added suspense to it. Oh my gosh, I that is literally what we did last week. I did not mean to put the same thing into the cup again. I need to learn how to take these out of the teacups so that I don't get repeats like this.
You need to get a cork board so you can pin them.
I
So
do. You know what I really
and
want to
then you
do
could like hang
actually.
it in the background. That would be
I've
so cute.
I've talked about in previous like pre-recorded episodes how I really wanted to get like a legit like a carnival spinny wheel, you know? Like one of those.
Oh
Cuz
yeah.
I used to use it on a on like I had like an app that did the spinny wheel thing. Um
Hmm.
but
But
what
that's
I
not as fun. You want
actually
to see it like in person.
yeah,
When
well
you hear the click.
the other thing that I had the idea for was and only because I found one on Facebook Marketplace, I'm like, well now I have to buy two of them. Is get
Fuck.
like a gumball machine or like a little gotcha machine and stick the themes into like the little gotcha balls and
Oh,
use those.
cute.
Isn't that
I
cute? I
actually
think that'd be fun.
I have an antique gumball dispenser that I've since cleaned out and restorated and whatnot that I put all my crystals in.
Cute. No, that's so
It's
smart. I
super
had a
cute.
my one of my besties sent me one of my besties sent me a picture of a like gumball machine where they actually said like my boyfriend doesn't understand me when I say you should fill it with Barbie doll heads and sent it to me because they know that like my art in my like free time, which is just something I like to do, is I make a lot of weird shit with baby doll
I
heads.
love it though.
Yeah.
Okay, listen, as someone who goes out to like wasteland weekends and shit like that, babies and Barbie doll heads and Barbie doll legs and
Mm-hmm.
hands are like top tier barter items. Like you can get so
Oh, it's
much
like
cool shit with
currency.
that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Interesting.
So like
Yeah.
out at Wasteland, everything is done on a barter system. There is no money exchanged except for like designated vendors. But if
Interesting. But it's
you are
all
a
like
Christian
barter, like
person, yeah,
trinkets and
everything is
stuff.
barter to barter. Hmm.
Interesting.
It's
So if you
why
see
I'm so
above
used to
us,
making like trinkets and stuff because like that's what we do. Oh, the theme!
we have our theme and we have our tone, and what we have is royalty in an urban fantasy setting. I've done two streams now where it was a high fantasy, so this is going to be a lot of fun because I actually
I'm
really, really love
fucking.
urban fantasy. And I think royalty in an urban setting is something that is not done nearly as often as it should. I think
Hmm.
royalty in modern settings or urban settings are so fun because you get this like
Hmm.
almost like family like lineage of like really traditional like focusing on old ways and things like that but in like a very modern probably very like progressive time.
Have you ever seen a show called Lost Girl?
Oh my god, the memory
That's what this
unlock
is.
the memory unlock that just happened in my brain. Holy
That's
shit,
what this
I
is, right?
forgot
Like
about that show. You're
full
so
send,
right.
full send.
Okay, okay,
Let's
okay.
go.
It's been so long since I've seen that show, but like the
I
moment of
have
just
a,
like, oh my god, you're so right.
I had so when I was working as a costume designer,
Mm-hmm.
I would just put stuff on in the background and sew
Yeah.
and just like listen to things. So I have consumed an unhealthy amount of media. Like, and I can't believe I'm admitting this on your stream. Hi everyone. Now you all know my dirty secret. I have consumed a disgusting amount of media. Like, we're
Good.
talking
I love it.
shows,
Yep.
movies, books, podcasts, just a ridiculous amount of media, all because I needed something in the background to like
Yeah.
at least keep me my like active brain focused.
I'm like that at my day job, because where I work, I'm allowed to like be kind of in the back and not have to deal with talking to people.
Mhm.
So these guys are my like ride or die. But I listen to my thing is mostly actual plays now because I'm
Yeah.
obsessed and I have too many creator friends.
Nope.
um,
I
that I have to like go down the list. But yeah, no, I trust me, I understand that completely because you
Oh
need
man,
something,
and
you
we've
know.
got like crit season coming out, so I'm about to listen to a ton of stuff.
Hello,
Ooh.
Ro- Robert Op. I'm gonna. My brain immediately went Robert Top. But hello, welcome to the chat. I see you over there. Okay, so I love this, and now we have questions. Oh, Robert Op.
Mhm.
Okay, Robert Op. Justin's in chat. I'm gonna get so distracted. We got so many
Oh
friends in
my
chat
God,
today.
Justin!
Hello,
Hello,
friends.
Robert.
Oh my
Hello.
god.
I'm. You even said the name, and my brain was like, "Whoop."
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Still, it's just yeah, it's a problem. That happened to me a lot when I got whenever I go into things under the DIY witch, people would be
Mhm.
like, the someone said the die witch, which I thought was funny. I was like, little
I could
dark,
see
but
it.
I get it. Yeah, I do.
Well, I took it as like like dyeing fabric,
Yeah,
like
that's it
ink
because there's
dye.
the Y in there. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, not
um,
like
so royalty and urban fantasy. So urban fantasy. This
urban
lends itself. There's a
fantasy.
couple of options that we can do here, and I have a question. Do you think that this story would take place in a world where like it is like our world and magic exists, but it's hidden? Like there's like an underground, like
Hmm.
it's a normal thing, or do you think that this is a
I
world where magic is out and normal, and it just happens to be a metropolitan modern setting, like a modern city kind of place?
hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm on. People might get annoyed with me, but I'm on a real low magic kick right now. So
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna go with underground. It's kind
Yeah.
of done behind hidden walls and whatnot. There's a
Yeah.
whole other society that people do not know about. I am so sorry, everyone in chat. VTM has taken over my fucking life.
Yeah, Misfit is fully in the VTM brain rot right now,
Right,
and
it's
it's
so
so
bad.
good. We spent like the half hour before stream just talking about VTM. It's
But yes,
awesome, and I love it.
I love a good hidden
Underground, hidden
society,
society. Listen,
underground
I
society.
was I was raised on Harry Potter. I get it. Like I'm like
Yep.
this is you need to have. I love the idea of it being there being magic, and it's being hidden. So
Mhm.
when it comes to these streams, there is no structure. This is very loose. We're chilling. However, sometimes I'll start with being like, oh, let's like build up the world first and build up characters around it, or we'll build up like characters first and try and build the world around these characters. I kind of want to start with characters first because I'm like, okay,
So,
that'll give us an idea of like what magic is like, how it does interact with the, normal human world, things like that. So, what kind of character would you play in this setting, in this story? Because I'm thinking another like TV show reference is, do you know the show Grimm?
oh my god, I loved Grimm.
I did it right back to you. That was awesome. That was immediate. Like I just flipped it back onto you. That moment
Fucking
of oh
loved
my god,
Grimm.
I love Grimm so much. Oh god, I'm gonna be thinking about that show like all
Okay,
day.
okay. So
Um,
here are my questions to
okay,
you.
yes.
Um, are there Fae-esque creatures in this world? So, and if so, is there like a light court and a dark court?
Oh, like a Seelie and an Unseelie type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I I mean, I
Because
think
that'll help
so.
me
Because
determine the
that's
character.
yeah. Because if that's, I think so. If that's your first reaction, and I'm all about everything, anything like Fae specifically, Fae related. I would say
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Okay. Cool, cool. Um,
So yeah.
mm,
Go on.
ooh, I gotta think about this one.
Yeah.
um, hmm.
It's taking me everything not to say like some kind of like siren creature, siren character,
But
but
see, I was gonna go with Unseelie Court.
well, maybe. So here's something that's interesting. So let's talk about like how do you think our characters would know each other? Because we could just give ourselves the friendship plot that we didn't get in Castleton and just be like, oh, we're besties, and put and try and put Fallon and Serendipity into this. We could also go like maybe siblings route and be like, oh, our characters are sisters or siblings. We also could go. I mean, I'm a sucker for ships. I'm gonna ship my characters with. I like. I think I'm going to end up figuring out a way, unless we do a sibling thing, shipping my character with every guest I have. It's a
Wait, hold
problem.
on. We've already done a character. Well, okay, it was kind of a vicarious charactership.
True.
When we played Ted Candle.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
A
but the audience doesn't
really
know
messy
about that. They
charactership.
don't know about that.
No one knows about that. It was a secret game.
I did have so last week I had Paige on the show. So
Oh, I love
we did talk a
Paige.
little bit about 10 candles. Yes. So whoever I think we did mention the 10 candles. We had a game of 10 candles in I think it's just cuz you want to ship characters together always. Obviously Aurora. Like
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for ships. I love romance. It's a problem. Fictional crushes are definitely the best. I mean, I've made this
It
joke
makes life a
before.
lot easier.
It's true. Oh, I've made this joke before, and I will say it again. Of just, if I'm not gonna get any in real life, I'm gonna make sure all of my characters do. You know.
I feel that though. I feel that.
Oh man, yeah. So that's so we have options of like our character interactions. We could also
Mhm.
like I mean there's so many different directions we can go. We could do like a Romeo and Juliet, like one of us is from the Seelie, the other is unseelie.
I see. I kind of love that
Yeah.
because
Okay.
I'm a sucker for forbidden love.
Okay, let's
Uh,
make it sapphic forbidden love though. Like that's I'm okay
uh,
with that. Pepperidge Farm
what?
remembers that 10 Candles game. You know what, Justin? You're so right.
Justin, Justin just dropping truth bombs over here.
Yeah, for real. You know what's so funny
The
is
I
like I would have gotten footage of that, but like the powers that be in the world for some reason
okay.
that
I
setting on my camera
full
changed and I lost any audio I got from that whole 10 Candles game.
I am
So,
fully convinced that Airbnb was haunted.
oh yeah.
Fully fucking
I don't
convinced.
remember hitting any buttons on my camera except for record.
Um,
I told Terry about this because I told him that I would give him the footage, the clip that I got of him like lighting the first three candles because it looked really cool. And
mhm,
then I went and watched it back and I was like, why is it filming in slow motion and why did I lose all of the audio from this scene? And so I had to
mhm.
text him and be like, so this happened. And he was like, look, you've told me about the other weird witchy shit that's happened to you. So, like, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
But
like
also, like, that just was like a meant to be situation of like, okay, it means it was meant, that moment was meant to stay in that speakeasy.
yes, I full yes,
Yeah.
100%. I agree
Yeah.
with you completely. Um, also, I want to play a specter. My
Okay.
character is going to be a specter. Who
Okay.
cannot interact with the world.
Who can't interact with like the human world.
The physical world. They can interact with humans by like going into their dreams.
But can only interact and navigate through astral spaces.
Yes.
Okay, so then
I know, that's real hard.
no, that's good. I like that because now I'm thinking, okay, so my character is some form of medium or seer or someone who frequently like travels into like a plane, someone who can travel between the planes, someone who can like frequently go into these astral spaces. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think okay, I because I love like playing like sorcerer type characters that are very much like, oh, I, either didn't know I had abilities until like later in life and then abilities started happening, or like people who are very powerful but don't realize how powerful they are, like
Hmm.
that kind of thing. So it kind of makes ability like harder to control. That kind of spot I think is really, really fun. And I think this character is someone who maybe she was born into like a normal human, like into the normal human world and didn't know that she had like interactions with like the Fae and interaction. I'm just putting myself into this character. Jesus Christ. I'm making a self insert about my own journey to finding witchcraft. But I like the idea of her like being born human and then realizing she can travel into like astral spaces, or maybe like she like lucid dreams a little too much and learning very quickly that she has this ability to like be normal and be a person like every day she is a normal human, but she has a very like almost spiritual astral connection and pull to these outer
Hmm.
spaces, and then as an adult learns that this world of fae and witchcraft and magic and stuff is real. It's not just in her dreams the way that she's always thought it was.
Okay, so have I been haunting her since she started
Possibly.
developing powers and
I
abilities?
I think maybe like I think what it is maybe she like started as a really young child having these very like vivid dreams and not
Hmm.
realizing that her dreams were just her walking around the like dream astral plane. And I think you probably would have met or started haunting like later in life when she's started like, okay, this is just, a thing that I can do, because she started maybe doing more like meditation because it was like affecting her sleep as a kid and she was having a lot of like mental health issues because of it or health problems. So then going to see like doctors and therapists and things like that, she started learning how to do like more deep meditations to get a hold of it.
Hmm.
And then so like later maybe like late teens early 20s you started like coming into the dream and saying hi. Maybe you did visit one or two of the dreams like when she was a kid, like first learning, realized,
Hmm.
oh, this poor child is having like problems with this, so I'm gonna dip and not make it worse. And then found again when she was an adult of being like, oh wow, you have a
She
much
moved
better
into the
handle on
building
this.
that
So
she
now
died
I
in.
can, yeah, like now you have a control and a handle over this. So now I can like come and say hi.
Hi.
Yeah. I think like that kind of sends her into a weird spiral when she first meets. Like it would send into like a weird like, oh hi, I haven't had a dream about you in a very long time. I remember you. Who are you? Like,
She sticks a pen of hers in a bag so that she can just follow you everywhere.
oh my god, I love the
You're
idea
her only
of like
connection to the world.
I love this idea of like having
Also, a little
being in a
stalkery.
like in a
Sorry.
dream, being asleep in a dream, meeting this
Hmm.
person that you're like, "Oh, I had a dream about you when I was a child." But now I'm an adult and I have a little bit more of a handle and control over this. But you're like, "Oh, you're back in my dream again. Hi, I haven't seen you in forever." And you slip a pen in the dream, put like a
Hmm.
pen or something that you own into my bag, and then waking up and finding that item in my bag, like in the physical
Because
space.
if it happens in the dream space, it happens in
Yes.
the physical space.
Yeah. I think she sees that, like would see that and immediately be like, call sick from work, like call out, stay home, go back into deep meditation to find this person again and be like, what the fuck was that?
I
And
am
like,
here to teach you about the astral realm.
okay, okay,
Because you need
okay,
help
like,
or you're going to get stuck. And that's bad.
okay, okay, like, has thought of this as like meditation and lucid dreaming and just having very vivid dreams, and like has gotten a handle of that part of it and like feeling restful and stuff, but has not given I'm sorry. Robert in
Sorry.
chat.
No, this is Avatar rules here. You don't have bowel movements in the astral world. It just
So
falls through.
for the YouTube audience that doesn't know that, Robert in chat just said, if you poop in your dreams, you poop in real life. Oh, that got me. That's so good. Oh, that's funny. Oh, I love it. Yeah, I think the idea of like she always thought that it was just that she like lucid dreams. She thought like she kind of like made up in her own head of like, oh yeah, this is like the other world that I like, made that I have in my head, but doesn't think that there's any interaction because
What does she do for her work?
ooh,
Is she a
okay.
novelist?
I was
Is
about to say,
she
I think she's a writer. I think she'd have to be a
okay?
writer.
Cool. Yeah, she'd
And
have
she
to be a
read.
writer.
Oh no, not a novelist though. She's a comic book artist. I think she makes
Love,
comics. Yeah, because
love.
then because her dreams are so vivid and dreams are very visual that I think she draws and writes comics about her like adventures in these other like dream spaces that she thinks are just lucid dreams. She thinks are just like traveling in this like dreamscape. I think she calls it the dreamscape, but doesn't realize that there is an interaction in the real
Mm-hmm.
world until seeing your character again and being like, oh, what the hell was
Oh
that
shit, you're real.
pen? Yeah, a bit. But I think like the first time meeting her is very much just like, oh, hi, like you're, wow, I haven't had a dream about you in a while. You haven't shown up in this space for me in a while. It's good to see you again, kind of thing. Wakes up, goes about her day like normal until she sees the pen that you put into the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Leaves work. I think is just like, I'm out, I'm going home.
I
So
can't
that
do
she
this.
can go back into this like meditative space and does like some of her like meditation practices to get into
Mm-hmm.
that dreamscape again and find you and be like, what was that?
Me teaching you that you can manipulate things in here. She'll like usher you over to something and be
Literally
like,
just
try it.
um and I think she draws a picture. I think she like takes a piece of paper or like takes like
Ooh.
in her like let's say this is like the dream version of her
Mm-hmm.
bedroom. She's like in even though she's meditating, she's imagining this meditative space in her own room.
Mm-hmm.
Not an out of body experience because she can't see herself, but she's like this is the dream version of her room. Goes and finds like her normal like sketchbook and draws your character in the sketchbook.
So what does that do? Does that bring her into the real world out of the dreamscape? Does it like can she just manipulate your comics and just drive through them? Because that would be rad. But
That'd be interesting.
it'd be cool.
I think it would be.
Everyone buys haunted comics.
I would. I'm 100%. I'm that type of chick that like you cannot take me into an antique store because I will look at something and go, "That's haunted," and then grab it and be like,
Oh no, see, I don't touch it.
start rubbing it on me.
Mm-mm.
I'm like,
Mm-mm.
"Hello, ghosty."
No fam.
Unless it looks like
No fam.
unless it looks like bad haunted, but if it's like it just looks like, oh, there's something attached to that. I'm like, I
You
want
just
it.
want to take home and take care of all the ghosts.
Yeah.
And that's fine. You can do that.
I just want to be friends with the ghosties.
No.
Don't take me to antique stores. Don't do it.
I won't.
I will bring
Oh, well,
ghosts
I
home with
will
us.
after like draping you in lapis.
Yeah, that's
No,
valid.
no ghost for you.
Yeah. Yeah, just give me like a full like a jacket where it's like one of those like jackets that have like 1,000 pockets and each of them have like a different crystal in it to be like let's create
Mm-hmm.
this like bubble
Protect you.
basically. Yeah. I
Yes,
love it.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I think my character is some kind of medium or like maybe she is like someone who was born Fae, like born part of like the Fae world, but like wasn't really. She was like raised
I mean,
in.
I wholeheartedly believe, people can call me crazy. This is my personal belief, is that like all of the fey creatures that used to walk the land that we have thousands of stories about have just interbred with humans. So now there's people with fey ancestry walking around. That's why there's so many
I'm
people who look like fucking elves and
yeah
shit.
yeah yeah. Well, I had it. There was a real moment that happened to me where I think it was Mandy came to visit, and I showed her in my bag right now. I keep a tiny backpack, and in the tiny backpack is tiny dice, and also
That's
tiny like
adorable.
just a shit ton of trinkets and stuff. And when I pulled this thing out, she was just like, "Are you just like an actual fae in real life?" And I was like, "Yes, yes, I am.
Yes, we do exist.
Yeah,
We are
yes,
around.
I am. I am for sure some kind of like crow fae creature because I'm obsessed with trinkets. I don't know what, but it's something. Yeah.
I know. I
Um.
feel that. I feel that on a whole level.
Yeah. That's kind of what I think that this girl is. She was definitely like born of or has some kind of ancestry in like some kind of like seer wise woman kind of role
Hmm.
like lineage um like a like not psychic, not really fortune teller, but you know what I mean, is like someone who can like see into the other planes and travel through the
Hmm.
other planes and just so happens to be raised like a normal person, like a normal human.
It happens
Ooh,
often, actually.
this would be really interesting if like her mom, like if it's not like an ancestral thing, it's not generations in the past, but it's like very recent and her like maybe
Hmm.
it's like passed down through like the female, the matriarch side, and her mom
Hmm.
knows. And her mom was like, "I wanted you to
Oh, I
be
never fucking
raised."
told her? That's bull.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I
dick
think that's so
move.
fun of like parents that think that they're doing their kid a favor by raising them as like a normal person. This might just come from like being a neurodivergent person, being someone who like didn't realize that they were autistic until they were fully an adult and things like that. But it's like this is the perfect like metaphor for that. Realizing that you
Hmm.
have these certain abilities that in these neurotypical or in these quote unquote normal spaces make you weird, make you different, make you it can be debilitating in some spaces, but once you learn about like what you are and what you have, the idea of like these stories about like being able to learning how to control your power when you realize them late is the same thing as learning how to unmask when you realize late that you are neurodivergent. Um, and so I think again, I'm
Fully
just
agree.
making a self insert. And so I don't intend to do this all the time, but it does happen sometimes. But I think it's perfect for this kind of story. Ooh, that is where the royalty aspect can come into it.
Right.
Because we've been
Ooh,
talking a lot
are
about
you a
urban
long lost
fantasy.
child from like a royal family?
That is what I think.
Mm.
Okay, so flip
Oh,
it.
what
I
if?
think she was raised by a single dad. Her mom is the one who's like magic and fae, but her
Okay.
dad is a normal human. Dad knows who the mom is, but is like, I'm gonna raise my kid like a normal human in the normal human world. Um,
Hmm.
but the mom is some kind of like she. This is fully like a Princess Diaries meets Lost Girl kind of situation. Like that's what I kind of want to see happen.
Hell yeah.
That's I think that's
Okay.
great. Yeah, because then as soon as I thought of oh this is where royalty comes in, I was like oh this is for sure. I'm gonna write Princess Diaries meets Lost Girl meets I don't know some kind of like Ghost Whisperer story.
Hey, I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, oh, the idea is like maybe you like work for my mom or work for the royal family on that side of things to like start it out as you were first tasked
I'll
with like
train.
it's my time to stream. Yeah, exactly. Bye Robert, have a good time. Um my dog's getting a bath. I love that actually. That's adorable. So yeah, I think like in the beginning you were told to like come and keep tabs and like when I was like a little kid and I saw you in like the dreamscape, I was like, ah, and it scared me, and so you kind of backed
Scary
off a little bit.
lady.
And now you come back to train and like to come back and you're like, okay, now you're ready because you're kind of
Mhm.
the thing in the background that's been like keeping tabs on me and sending tabs to my mom in the real in the fey magic side of the world, you know?
She couldn't stay here because she got sick.
Yes. Or maybe it
That's
was
human.
like I mean, honestly, maybe it was just a weirdly human situation of just they just split up.
Oh yeah.
And
So
she
she was
decided to
just like,
go
all right,
home.
about.
Yeah, and she decided to go home
Or
and
she like
be
wisped the person, where Will of the Wisp will sometimes procreate and then dip out on humans and come back
interesting.
later in life to like collect their humans.
So, okay, that's interesting because like now I'm imagining her like human dad opening the door and seeing just a basket with a baby in it and being like, "It's yours, good luck," you know, like that kind of situation. That's fully what I'm imagining.
That's so awful. Kind of accurate though. It's kind
I
of.
know
It was like, oh, she stuck around long enough for the pregnancy and then like
exactly.
knocked it off.
Well,
It's like
oh, okay. I have back to normal. I have a very real good idea. Because what if I'm
I'm
gonna wait
sorry,
for
I'm
Misfit to
dying.
stop dying.
I'm sorry. That tickled me on such a level. Oh, okay.
Oh, this is fun. Yep. Yeah. Maybe. Okay, very real idea. Maybe maybe my character is someone who is like it's almost like a chosen one situation of like maybe my
Mhm.
character is going to be someone who has the ability to bridge the gap between the human and the magic world,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
like maybe my mom wants to bring magic into the human world but can't do it herself and so decides, well, I'm gonna have a child, but like decided like I'm gonna still is like this is very strange. So for anyone who has watched Castleton, which I'm pretty sure most people in the chat right now have seen Castleton, Fallon, my character, has a mom who is a god, who is very like I mean, she just is very like I'm gonna puppet my kids around basically. But I think kind of fame and folklore energy, but a little bit less bad guy situation. A little bit more like I still want what's best for my daughter, and in order
Mhm.
for her to be the kind of leader that she's going to be in the magic world, she needs to understand the human world so that she can start bridging that gap. And so
Mhm.
has this child, sends it to her father, human dad, and is like, well, you know, raise this kid in the human world, basically. It's yours, good luck. Which is fucked up. Maybe does it a little bit more, uh, you know, with a little bit more tact
A little
than
more
that.
tact.
Yeah, a little
Just a
bit.
little.
But then has one of her, you know, part of her court go and like keep tabs, which is you. Go and like keep
Mhm.
tabs. When she's a kid, be like, oh, okay, I need to back off. I need to not get her too involved in the magic world right now. Eventually,
Oh,
she
oh,
will.
her human frailness can't handle this. Cool, great.
Exactly.
I'm out.
Exactly. But
I'll
once you
come back
realize
later.
she is like, once you realize she's old enough and has enough of a handle on interacting with the dreamscape, now it's time to show her that it's not just a dream. And
Mm-hmm.
so you come back with the now you're here to kind of train and be like, "Oh, let me start revealing the truth to you, like who you are." And so mom is
Very
like,
slow.
"Oh, it's time now. Let's get her. Let's
Mm-hmm.
bring her home," kind of situation.
Mm-hmm. But you can
Yeah.
only get through it to the this realm of your mother through the astral realm.
Through
So you
this
have to like
astral
learn how to
space.
open doors, and you have to
Yeah.
learn how to interact with things in this astral space, and then
Yeah.
realize what you're interacting with also affects the real world.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's where you come in is like you're here to very much like teach and be a guide and be like a mentor and then also be like I'm also here to make sure you don't have a panic attack when you start actually interacting with shit.
Please don't die because there are things in here who might eat you.
Yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. Teaches about both the good and the bad. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
mom is like a queen, the queen of the Sealy court
Yeah.
in this situation. Yeah, I think that's great. Oh my god, I love this so far. Yeah, I like this idea of like lost princess kind of situation, but like not
You
really
really just love
lost.
a good lost princess.
I can't. I don't know what my deal is. I don't know what my problem is. I told you before we started this stream that I love to play a Fallon character. Like,
Listen, I told you about my character.
yeah. I listen. I do usually love a messy character, but I okay. So like, let's
I love a
involve
good tragic character.
because with this we haven't really talked about her as a personality. We just talked about her role and her family history.
Mm-hmm.
I think my character's like personality is very not quite like Mia from Princess Diaries, more grungy, more like
Mm-hmm.
she
Mm-hmm.
fucking writes comics for a living. She probably listens to fucking My Chemical Romance and is like a very
Black
is
album. Or
not what
Black
you think of when you think Fae princess, is very
mm-hmm.
like probably lives in a very urban setting like in like a New York or something like that.
Apartment. Yeah, New York is exactly the city I
Yeah.
was thinking about.
As aesthetically, I am a sucker for like 90s New York energy. I'm a sucker
Mm-hmm.
for like Rent. That's the aesthetic that I'm
Yeah.
obsessed
Yeah,
with.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rent, Tick
Kind
Tick
of
Boom,
grungy. Your
that
type.
whole
Your like power goes out pretty frequently.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I feel like yeah, lives in like a shitty studio apartment. Um,
Mm-hmm.
wears like the big flannel that she bought at Goodwill 8 years ago, kind of situation.
Hey, if it
Um,
fits, it fits.
yeah, exactly. Loves to go to like grunge shows at these shitty little dive
Mm-hmm.
bars, kind of situation. And so
Can't beat that $1
hearing
PBR.
well, yes, exactly. Exactly. And
I
so
know the
meeting
energy.
meeting a fucking like Fey servant of royalty in a dream to tell you that you are a fairy princess is like
Excuse me,
how much
what?
did I smoke before I went to bed? Like it's very much like okay, no more edibles before bedtime.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is
Is
a
the
good call.
situation, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's where she's at. And that's why she's just like, "Excuse me?" And that's why she freaks out when she sees like the real like the pen that was done in the
Mhm.
dream in her bag cuz she's like, "Huh?" Like she's like,
See
this isn't
what?
real." Yeah, she truly is like, "I don't remember doing edibles or doing mushrooms before this and now I need to like figure out what's going on." So, I love that idea of like it's now turned into like grungy Rent aesthetic meets
Hmm.
Alice in Wonderland almost. Like
I would say like American McGee, Alice in Wonderland,
there yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
much like Disney Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. See, you get me. You understand
I'm
me.
picking up the grunge
We get the
vibe.
vibe. So, okay.
I
So I've
get the
talked a lot
vibe.
about what my character's like personality and what her like history, backstory and stuff is. What do you think about your character like personality wise? What's her backstory? How did she start working for the queen? Like what's the vibe?
Okay, so her backstory is she comes from a house of fae creatures that can pass through dimensions.
I love it.
Um, and they're a servant house to like the royal house because that's an ability that the royalty of this world believe that they should only have access to that.
It's very much a like gift from the gods kind of situation. So I
Mm-hmm.
love it.
Or
Okay.
that's at least how it's treated. So she's
Yeah.
super rigid and like very um no, you have to do things by the book because that's how I was trained. So like that's how you
Got
have
it.
to do it.
So
Kind of a
almost very
clash of
like
personalities.
militaristic of like
Less militaristic and more just strict.
okay. Yeah. That'll be really
Like
interesting
strict with
interacting with this
herself,
like
strict with you, strict
yeah.
with everything.
Really that'll
Restrict
be really interesting interacting with like this
artists.
like grunge comic book artist from New York. That'll be really fun. I love that. Oh boy. Okay. So this is a part that I like absolutely love to ask people because I like learning about people's different naming conventions and like how do you usually name your characters? So what do you think your character's name would be?
That's a phenomenal question because naming characters is my one biggest weakness. Like
So many
I
people say
suck
that and
at
go
naming
with that
characters.
too.
I have a list on my phone on my like little tab like note tab app on my phone of different names for different genres. So if I'm playing like high fantasy, I'll look in the high fantasy category. If I'm playing just like a character like modern, I have like
Yeah.
modern names. Uh Sometimes I like to mix it up and name characters kind of like obscure old school names like
Okay.
Aster. Uh
Yeah. Aster
because
is such a good one
that's
though.
fucking weird. That's a
Yeah.
weird name. So like, uh, but naming is really hard. I struggle with it.
Yeah.
But the
I
first name that popped into my head was Penelope, so I'm gonna roll with it.
I love Penelope. Um, so I just finished. That makes me emotional because I just finished up a mini series I was in on Cloud Connor's channel, where I played a
Mm-hmm.
character named Penelope, but she went by Penny for short. And
Aw,
that finale just aired a couple days ago, and it was also the first time I cried on camera. I was a disaster. I love that character so much. She was such a like cobbled together last minute character, um, but she became like so close to my heart so quickly.
Mhm.
Um, if you ever saw me interacting with Jacob at PAX U and then saw him run away while I was flipping him off saying "fuck you," it was because he likes to hurt my feelings about that character. Um,
That's fair.
because his character was very deeply connected with mine, and it was just a it was
Mm-hmm.
beautiful
Mm-hmm.
and hilarious because it was so emotional. But he would love to like say things that would make me be like, so I would just meant my fuck you. So yeah, I love the idea. I love the name Penelope. So what I do when it comes to characters, because I will do that sometimes where it's like, oh, a name just immediately popped into my head, and
Yeah,
now I'm like,
sometimes I get it. And like,
yeah, it's like the I. It sounds very crazy, but I love to feel like my characters are talking to me in the back of my head. You know,
mm-hmm.
they have their own voices for sure. And every now and again, a
Mm-hmm.
character will just come up to me and be like, "Hey, hey, this is my name now," and I just have to go, "Cool,
Okay.
yeah."
Do you ever have like character isms? I do. I have them so fucking hard.
Oh yeah,
Um, like for example, Aster just goes. She grumbles a lot. Like
yeah,
a lot. It's kind of annoying because then afterwards, like after we're done recording or whatever, I will sit there and be like,
yeah.
partner's like, no, you talk to me as Misfit, not as Aster. Like,
Fallon a lot of the time has to like has to just be like she just takes a deep breath because she's like, I am in way over my head with everything. So Fallon just, so many times I just have to go, like, just a deep
like,
breath, you know?
Serendipity is a fucking airhead. She's just,
yeah.
there's not many rocks in that noodle.
Not, yeah. The
Oh.
lights are on, but no one's home. It's all elevator music.
Yeah.
And clinky coins.
Big time. And clinky coins,
And
but
clinky
like
coins.
mostly just elevator music.
I love that, actually. So when it comes to naming conventions specifically, what I will do is I will actually look up names that, like, I'll think of, like, the character's, like, personality or what their role in the story is, their arc, and I'll just look up names that mean a certain thing. Like, with Fallon, I said this in some of my past episodes, but I kind of did it reverse, where I was like, I needed a name that started with F, because there was a lot of, like, alliteration happening, and I found the name Fallon with Fallon, and it meant superior, and I was like, a god of fame and folklore would name their kids something that means superior. So I went with that, and then of course I changed the O to a Y, because adding a Y to a name immediately makes it more fantasy. There is one...
Why is that?
I don't know. I think it's just because it's, like, unconventional.
I mean, you can make all the, like, the pretty scribbly things afterwards too.
But I think if you're typing the name out, like if you're typing the name out in like a story, like when you're writing it, I think it's because like it is more unconventional and it looks like something from a different world. It looks like a spelling that like a different language or a different understanding of this spelling would have, which I think makes it more fantasy.
Yeah, I could see that.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, there is one name that for me also did come to the front of my mind immediately, but it's too on the nose. It's like Remus Lupin level of obvious that I'm like, I don't need to do that. You know what I mean?
Ew. What is it?
It's just the name Faye, but spelled Faye. Because that is a name.
A character,
but it's also...
I had a character named Koi once who was really shy. Like, crippling shyness.
Incredible. I love that so much. Yeah, I think...
So, I'm here for it. I'm here for the the kind of on-the-nose name. I don't think people should shy away from that, honestly.
I will do things that are like, you know, for me, I'll look up names that are like, oh, like if a character is very protective or very like will fight somebody, is easy to like, you know, throat punch a bitch. I'll look up names that usually mean like defender or protector or something like that. Instead of names that like mean strong. Or like I had a character that was I think this was for the first episode I did, or it might have just been a private character that I made. I genuinely don't remember. But, you know, I needed a character or a name that meant fire. A name that meant, like, because she was, like, a fire dancer. And instead I ended up coming up with a name that meant star. And so, because a star is, you know, it's a light, it's a burning thing. And so, I'll, like, kind of go, like, add at least like 1 to 2 degrees of separation, but keep it very adjacent, very close. The idea of naming a character who doesn't know that she's part Faye is really funny to me.
I feel like that was the dad's decision. Like, out of a mild butthurtness, out of a mild, like, no one's gonna get it.
Yeah.
And that's an inside joke for him.
That is for his own. And I feel like once she discovers it, she goes to her dad and be like,
are you serious? You did this to me?
Yeah. That's how the dad finds out that she now knows. That's how the dad... Yeah, that's how the dad learns that she knows the truth. And he's like, I thought it'd be funny. Like, he's
like a boy named Sue. Uh,
I feel like the dad is a very, like, he loves to make puns. He loves making dad. He's a
mhm.
goofball of a dad. He's not like a,
Oh, he's dad
yeah.
joke dad.
He is a dad joke dad. I think he has to be a dad joke
Mm.
dad. I think he and,
No.
like, I think these two are, like, they're very close because obviously, like, raised by a single parent, it's very, like, my dad's
Did
my
he
best friend.
ever redate or anything like that?
Did he ever, oh,
Remarry?
I think maybe he, like,
Anything?
dated, but I don't think he ever remarried. I don't think he ever married.
Hmm.
I think
That makes sense.
like I think when she started getting into like her teens and like adulthood, she would tell him like you should go out, you should go on dates. Like I get that you were raising me as like a single person and so that's hard, but like I am now at a point where I can take care of myself. If you wanted to go on dates, you could. And I
Hmm.
think there is a part of him just because I'm a fucking romantic and I feel like there's a part of him that is like kind of hopes that when she does have to eventually go home, like he knows in his heart like she's going to have to go back to the magic world to meet her mom and to learn about magic and to do all these things. Um and I think there's a little tiny part of him that like kind of wishes to bridge that gap and see her mom again.
Oh, he's a hopeless romantic. I
He
love
is.
that.
He is. He
Ah!
definitely raised her on like classic Disney stories and fairy tales and stuff like that. Like
Oh, so she
for
has a
sure.
really unhealthy uh outlook on relationships.
I think uh she did, and I think like maybe she's a little bit cynical now because maybe she like had a relationship in high school that went sour or something like that. She didn't
They
get.
cheated on him.
Yes. Yeah. I think like she has a weird relationship now with
Oh,
romance and
that
with
was one of the times
relationships.
that she came into the picture was to into a dream was to be like, he's
Yes.
cheating on you.
Yes. Oh, that's fucked. Oh, that's
Oh, that's
good.
dark and messy.
That's
Oh,
real
that's
dark.
good. I
No,
love
no,
that.
no. Okay, what it is like you're is Penelope came into the dream and without being seen or like tried to hide it and left evidence in the dreamscape for her to find out when she woke up.
Screenshots. Bitch, it was screenshots.
Yeah, screenshots or like maybe like found like the other girls like some of the other girls like belongings and left it in his apartment when he was dreaming. So she went over and
Because she
found
can
it.
do that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Messy.
Ooh. She
Messy.
tormented a little bit too.
A
Whoever
little
this
bit.
person was,
Yeah.
a little bit. Like
Yeah.
there was a week where like you saw them and he was just tired and
He was having a
kind of fucked
rough
up
time.
looking.
Yeah.
It was a rough
I love
time.
this idea of this happening when she's in early adulthood. Like maybe this happens like
Mhm.
right before she learns about the magic world is like
Ooh,
Penelope
what spurs her to
knows.
be an artist? Because she started dumping her pain into art.
Mm, so this happened like in college. I think this happened when she's like
Yeah,
in college.
like
She kind of is
early
lost.
college.
Yeah, she's like maybe freshman year of like community college. Doesn't really know what she's gonna do. She's like
Oh, the baby.
19 maybe. She took a gap year, so she's like 19 or something. Um and like I think like in she has sort of developed a slightly healthier relationship with romance, meets this guy, loves him, and then realizes like, oh, he's cheating on her. And so
Oh, he's a douche.
yeah,
God damn it.
exactly. And that's her moment of like, none of these stories are real. This shit doesn't exist. That kind of thing. So she's
Mhm.
developing a kind of like deep cynicism. Puts all of her like effort into drawing these things and art, and realizes like, oh, her like little doodling in the margins of all of her notebooks. Maybe she should focus on that in school instead of doing her fucking business
She
degree
like
or whatever the
changed
fuck she's
majors
going
because
into.
she didn't want to be around him or something. I see that.
Yes. Oh my god, no, he's a finance bro. She was a business major.
Oh no!
Yeah. So
No!
they met in like an accounting 101 class or some shit like that. Disgusting. I hate this.
Vomit.
I hate this man so much and we just created
Me
him.
too.
I
Fuck this guy. He's such an asshole.
love
God, this
he
fantasy
yeah.
douche.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, I love making a fantasy douchey boyfriend that like every female in the audience will just be like, "Fuck this guy," you know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm.
Oh man, yeah, 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 yeah. And I think like, okay, hear me out. This is timeline wise. This is what I think is like Penelope showed up to start keeping tabs on Faye again, like knowing, okay, you're 19, you're now have a good enough grasp on like the meditation and the controlling how you feel in and out of the space that I can start showing you it's real kind of thing. Um
Mhm.
Somewhere in the space, like maybe like you like came into a dream while Faye was at like douchey boyfriend's place. You found the evidence and decided, okay, before I go reveal myself to Faye, I'm just gonna leave this evidence out here on top of the dresser for
She
her to
needs to get out
find.
of this situation.
Yeah, get her
Let's
out of
set her up
there.
better.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So she hasn't even truly like started a career in comics yet.
Oh.
She maybe like just started and is working on like has just like finished her first comic when you reveal
Mhm.
yourself, because I think the idea is like, okay, you leave this little piece of evidence out. Faye realizes like, oh, this guy's cheating on me, breaks up with him, and now is in too much emotional distress to deal with the big change, and is like, oh shit, now I gotta wait longer to talk to her. Fuck. Yeah. So in a weird way, kind of starts
But
like
in
help.
that liminal time,
Yeah.
uh Penelope would have started showing her just different worlds for her to write about.
Yes. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Instead of showing herself like being like, okay, well, he was a douche. Now I need to fling you into this whole other situation that
Maybe
is
it
gonna
starts like,
make your noodle
yeah.
hurt. So
Maybe
she
starts
starts
like,
showing.
yeah, show her like your, maybe it starts showing me like your favorite places in
Mm-hmm.
that Fey world, like your favorite clearing in the woods to just hang out at, your favorite um
Garden to
your
hang
favorite,
out in.
yeah, garden in the castle, your favorite like the kitchens of the
Mm-hmm.
castle with all these Fey magic-y pastries and stuff like that.
Bring you to a ball for you, like drop you into a
Cute.
ball so
Yeah.
that you can experience what a ball is in the Fey
Yeah.
court,
A
and
royal
but not
ball.
really knowing. So like it's a
Yeah.
masquerade ball, very labyrinth.
A very, oh, that's good. That's, I have it, you can't see it,
Yeah.
but right over there I have a big David Bowie Labyrinth poster. Labyrinth is
Uh
my number one
love me
favorite
some
movie
labyrinth.
of all time. Favorite movie
Yes.
of all time.
I was raised on that movie.
Mhm. That was my babysitting movie. That was the movie that like
Mhm.
my mom would put on when she didn't want to deal with my shit anymore when I was a kid.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
this is one of those great, like, I should have realized I was autistic before. Was as an adult, I was like maybe like 20 years old, 21, and I was looking through my mom's DVDs to find a movie to watch, and I was like, why do you have 5 copies of Labyrinth? And she goes, because of you. Because every time you thought that we lost it or couldn't find it, you'd cry and scream until I went out and bought another one. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. That
Sorry.
sounds, yeah,
That
that's.
sounds super
You
like me.
are correct. It also should say something about me that Jareth was my first fictional crush.
100
This,
samesies
yeah,
though. Samesies.
this says a lot about me.
Like
Oh, I think, okay, wait, that actually does give me
why
a
I
good
like
idea then.
really toxic men.
I was gonna say it's why I like drag queens and gay guys.
That too.
I
That too,
like
but
men
that's
in
a whole different
makeup.
other conversation.
It's
Yeah, a whole other
yeah,
conversation.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Give me.
Uh,
I love that your first chat Clippy Vox is
rude.
coming in to be like rude because we're talking about.
That's my partner in real life.
Oh,
Clippy
is
is
it
my
really?
partner.
Oh my
I would
god,
like
that's so
chat to
funny.
know that Clippy is not a toxic human in any way, shape, or form. I have graduated from toxic society.
Good,
Uh,
good.
uh,
Listen, toxic men are only
with
hot in
honors.
fiction.
only hot in fiction.
Only hot in
Only.
fiction. Yeah.
Only. You you fantasize about them, but you go home to a real good person.
Yes. Yes.
Like, that's the
Absolutely.
important takeaway here.
Yeah.
Trust me, we can have conversations about this. I will talk about it at length
Yeah.
anytime.
This is
But
every episode so far. I've had to make some kind of PSA where I look directly into the camera when I say it, so I'm gonna do this. Toxic men are only hot in fiction, okay?
toxic men are only hot in fiction. Someone clip that, please, because that's a really important PSA.
Yeah, eventually I'm gonna get a compilation for a clip of like all the different PSAs I've made. One of them was, I think, the episode with Diana of the Rose. The the PSA was the BBEG is capitalism, and then in last week's episode with Paige, my PSA was in last week's episode with Paige, my PSA was oh, everything is better when it's gayer. And then in this now it's toxic men are only hot when they're
only hot in fiction.
Yeah.
You do not interact or engage. If they make you think about the bear, run for the bear.
Yes. Yeah. Please. So that's, first off, hilarious that Clippy Box is watching this and has to interact just to be like, hey. That's so funny. I don't know why my cursor's not working. My mouse isn't working. But anyway, so I will get clips of all of my PSAs that I've made so far. That's hysterical.
Good.
So you did give me a good idea though. That is very like labyrinth-esque. Is if in one of these dreams when I'm like, you know, healing from this fucking breakup because this toxic douchebag decided to cheat.
Okay.
That's one of the first times I see you again, like Penelope again, since being a kid. Like actually like see and interact with you. But we're at a masquerade ball, so it's like you, instead of it being like, oh, I recognize you, it's more like interesting deja vu situation, but it's like a weird familiarity and comfort, and it's very much a situation of like, because again, I will ship my characters with all of my guests. With all of them. It's gonna happen. No one can escape me. No one is safe. Actually, only one person is safe, and that's because I cannot ship any of my characters with anybody that Aetherius makes. That is my brother for life, and we will only be siblings for the rest of
that's
life.
totally,
you know what I mean?
Totally fair. That is cemented forever.
Exactly.
100%.
Yeah. Phineas has solidified that, like, any characters that I make to interact with Aetherius will be siblings, and that's it. That's the only one. After that, no one else is safe. But I love this idea of having this like almost sense of like familiarity and deja vu and like comfort, and because of that, there's like a pull like towards Penelope, and I think there is like a nice,
it's part
like,
of her Seelie gift.
Yes. And I think, like, in the dreamscape, there is, like, a bit of a pretty, like, dance number or something like that. Very, like,
of course.
When the World Falls Down kind of song.
What is it? I imagine it much like the scene from Anastasia, where they first go into the derelict palace.
Okay. Yeah.
And, she's imagining it. That's how I
yes.
imagine this scene.
I love the idea of, like, the scene, it starts as, like, a very crowded royal ball, like, beautiful. Maybe at some point, like, the queen does see Faye, like, at the ball.
Yeah.
But then as the dream fades, it goes into more of, like, what Faye's dreamscape is, and all of the people go away, and it turns into just this empty dance hall of just Faye and Penelope dancing, but, like, not speaking to each other yet. But it's just, like, dancing in this, like, less creepy, more like I'm not focusing on anybody else, but I feel comfort in this space.
Okay, so one of those like moments where everything else melts away.
Yeah, and it's more like because like the dreamscape that Penelope created was this crowded ball to kind of be like more so in a way of like, let me get you around other people, let me get you feeling how to feel like in this castle, because you're eventually gonna get there. Be in this like, around all of these creatures. Whereas once the dance starts with Penelope, Faye is feeling this comfort with this other person and is like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
care about the party. I don't care about the crowd or the magic of the people here. I'm just really enjoying this moment dancing with this person, even if we're not speaking. And so, like,
Mm-hmm.
everything else goes away, and it's just this pretty dance number before Faye then, like, wakes up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think that's so cute and so beautiful. Um,
That's cute.
but then I love this idea of Penelope showing up to, like, when eventually it does get to the point where Faye, like, or Penelope shows up to Faye and is like, hi, I'm here to teach you that this is real and how to do magic-y stuff. Um,
So all those dreams you thought were dreams weren't dreams.
that that instills a very deep gay panic in Faye immediately. She's not gonna say it out loud, but she gets
She
a
knows.
very deep
Penelope
gay
knows.
panic. Yeah, like, she's not gonna say it out loud, but there is gonna be a part of her that is just like, so the
Oh
dancing
fuck.
was real too? Like, that's
That was totally real.
she doesn't even I don't even think she
100%.
says it. She's just like, so all of the dreams weren't dreams. All of them?
All of them.
Okay. Moving on. Like, will not admit it.
But also, like, that's just part of Penelope's existence, is to be
Yeah.
ethereal and pretty and to
Yeah.
kind of lure
Yeah.
people in. So, there's
So, in that case then, so I've already obviously made it very clear how, like, Faye feels about this, but, like, what's the reverse? How would Faye feel, like, during that dance when
Mhm.
Faye, or when Penelope realizes, oh, all of the other partygoers are gone and it's just me dancing with Faye in this space. I'm
Mhm.
supposed to be just a royal, like, part of a royal noble house that is meant to serve. Especially as someone who's very strict, I'm supposed to be someone who's here to train and teach, and that's it.
Mhm.
But this is now a dreamscape that I did not create. Faye created this herself, and this is maybe, like, a first act of real, like, control and power in this space that Faye has, and this was, like, her first thing of, like,
Mhm.
she was able to control it, but she created this very, like, intimate, beautiful moment. How does Penelope feel?
Penelope would still think that it's just part of her job. She's
Mm,
just performing her duty.
okay. So it would take a lot
And
more for Penelope to
oh, it would
realize,
take a lot
I love a slow
for
burn. I love
Penelope
a slow burn.
to even understand that, like, there are feelings, because Penelope is like, oh, good, she's learning how to do this. Perfect. We're,
Oh,
like, ahead of the game.
that's so sad.
I'm
I
sorry.
love a slow burn. It's so good. No, this is great because it turns
Dense.
the
She's
forbidden
very
love
dense.
aspect of it, instead of this forbidden love aspect from um like, from a we're from enemy sides, into more like
Mhm.
a this is my job. It's more
Mhm.
of like almost like a power dynamic split versus it being like an enemies across sides. I
Still,
love that.
technically, you would be outrank her in that sense, and you
Yeah.
still have all the power. Uh, and you could totally be a brat about it. But I don't think she realizes that yet, and Penelope is absolutely not going to say anything.
It's duty role romance. Yes, Aurora, you're so right.
Yes,
It's
yes,
such a good story.
100%.
So, okay, so we've got a good grip on, like, story and character dynamic and personality. I want to kind of talk a little bit about, well, let's do a little bit more character developing. What does Penelope look like?
That's a phenomenal question that I have
Yeah.
been uh, thinking about. But more importantly, what does Penelope look like to Faye?
Do you think she would present? Do you think she would present herself to Faye
She would probably probe a brain
differently?
to see what would be the most ideal form to present as.
Interesting. Interesting. So, do you think I see a little look on your face? What are you doing? What are you plotting over there? What are you thinking?
Nothing. I am plotting shit.
I don't believe you. uh, Maybe she looks like a famous actress or romance cover. Honestly, Aurora, that is not a bad idea. I think, like, when Faye was a kid, Penelope did show up as, like, whatever her normal self looked like. And
Mhm.
then realizing, oh, she's too young, she's not ready, pulls back. When she does start coming back, like when she starts like leaving evidence for like the cheating boyfriend and comes back to like create
Mhm.
these different dreamscapes, maybe would disguise herself as different things. Like if she was creating a dream space that was like a spot in the forest that
Mhm.
Penelope wanted to show Faye, maybe it was like she looks like a squirrel, you know, but then also maybe like at the ball um is like a like still kind of her true self, but like very like changes certain features just so much that she's not recognizable like right off the bat.
Yeah.
Like changes
Yeah.
eye color, changes, you know, hair color, that kind of thing.
Hair length.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah. Yeah.
until she shows up like to her to say, "Hi, this is real. I'm a real like I'm a real being." Does she like revert back to her normal self? And that's
Mhm.
when Faye recognizes her and is like, I saw you when I was a kid. That kind of situation.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I think that would be it. How do you think, okay, so less of how she looks right now, but how do you think Penelope dresses? Like on a normal day, like in her normal self, how do you think she would dress? Because there is a level of duty, but there's also a level of nobility with her.
um. So she dresses uh royal casual,
Okay, I
and
like that.
that's such an oxymoron. I know.
No, I
Um.
can kind of imagine it actually. Royal
Like
casual.
she kind of always looks like she's ready for a ball or something of that nature with long
Oh,
flowy dresses and like her
interesting.
she lets her hair down and it is just like
Yeah.
cascades all the way down to the floor with like tiny little ringlets and whatnot.
Oh,
Um
pretty. Fuck,
but
I'm in love
like
with her now.
she never wears any shoes.
Very, very fairy esque. I like that.
Very Faye-esque. Like she never
Yeah.
wears any shoes. She walks very lightly. So like her feet barely touch the floor when she does take a step. It's like she almost floats everywhere.
Cute. I like this. Meanwhile, then you've got Faye, who is like straight up in like combat boots and ripped jeans and fishnets and is very like Tumblr grunge from like the 2010s era, you know what I mean?
I
I feel
do.
like she
I
looks like,
do know.
you know what I mean? I feel like she looks like
Mhm.
Taylor Momsen circa 2012. That's the kind of energy I'm
Mhm.
imagining for
Mhm.
her.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm. I can
very
see it.
if we're going into like, you know, the urban aspect, especially like that like New York style, I'm imagining like older Jenny from Gossip Girl, like very Taylor Momsen, like gothy,
Mhm. Mhm.
grungy. Probably has like the long, you know, long blonde hair that's either like tied up like messy bun style or like is just kind of down and like a mess. Like does not really do a lot of like specific styling to it. Is very like grungy fishnets, combat boots, ripped jeans, big flannel, like that kind of energy.
Why do
Smudgy,
I
like
get
dark eyeliner that she probably wore the night before.
it's the older sister from the Wild Thornberries. God, what the fuck is her name?
Oh my god, yes.
That's what I'm picturing.
That's
Like
hysterical. Holy shit.
100%.
Yes, absolutely, you're correct. Aurora says, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the Tangled cartoon, but I feel like the Cass Rapunzel relationship. I have not actually seen the cartoon,
I
so I
have
don't know
no.
who
I don't
Cass
know what
is.
that is.
But now I need to go and watch it. So
Well,
that's
shit.
going on my list. Yeah, I'm gonna have to remember that. Now I have to go watch and be like, I know you know I'm gonna find like clips of this and send it to you at like 2 in the morning tonight and be like, oh my god, it is them.
I love it.
It's you won't be able to escape headcanons about these two now. This
No,
is what happens. Yeah.
we're here forever.
I love
I
it.
dig it.
Um I think okay, so I mean we've got a lot of good development in terms of like character. I kind of want to work out like what is the one, what's the queen's motivation? Like what is Oh my gosh, hi. Oh shit, we got a raid.
Oh my
Hello,
gosh!
Sam.
Hello, Raiders! How are we
Ah,
doing today?
raiders.
Raiders, Raiders!
Hello. Okay, so just to let you guys know kind of what we've created here, if y'all are just checking in then, I keep coughing. Um, so we've got our theme and tone is royalty in urban fantasy. So kind of what we've created here is there is like in the normal human world of like a grungy New York space, a young comic book artist by the name of Faye, raised by her dad joke dad, who named her obviously, is is learning that her ability to lucid dream and meditate into these like high astral spaces is not just dreaming and not just you know meditating and creating these spaces in her head, but is actually traveling to an astral magical realm that does not that cannot truly interact too deeply with the human world. Until she meets Penelope, who is a what did we call her type? A specter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Spectre.
So Penelope can interact with the human world, but only through these different dreamscapes and meditationscapes, and was sent on assignment from Faye's real mother, who is the
Mom.
queen of this fairy world, um, and is sent to train her in how to like hone and control her magic, in hopes that she will become this next monarch that can bridge the gap between the magical world and the human world. I'm really loving these characters. Also, they're very gay for each other. Um,
There you go.
Penelope does not know it yet. Faye is in a full gay panic and will not admit it.
As for the motivation,
Yeah.
it would be to bridge the gap between the Fey world and the human world, but in order to take over and enslave the human world.
That's what I was thinking of like, okay, is the mom like a secret BBEG or oh bye
Yes.
Sam. Have fun getting ready
Bye,
for work.
Sam.
Sam, I did get your DM on Discord. I will message you as soon as the stream ends. So, just for you. Yeah. So, I I was just thinking that of like, okay, is the mom actually like a bad guy, like actually a BBEG? Is she doing this for good? No, I think it's great that the mom is
Oh,
secretly a villain, because she's going to
villain.
have. I love the idea of the villains being like, looking like the nice queen, doesn't have a maleficent type of energy, but looks very like, oh, I just want to like bring magic to the mortal or to the human
They
world.
deserve
I
to
want
have
to
magic.
yeah. No, but she understands that like humans can't this isn't a anybody can do magic. This is a
Hmm.
like
She
yes, the
wants the ones
humans
that
have
can do magic, but she wants the ones who cannot to like.
yeah. She believes that those who can't perform magic are like beneath her and are useful
Hmm.
in terms of like
Hmm.
to be like enslaved. Yeah, I think that is so good. That is perfect. Cuz I was kind of in the same like
Yeah.
space of this. Yay, people to rule. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I love this idea that like Faye being raised in not the richest in like she was not raised as a rich person in New York.
Mm-mm.
She was raised in a space of not necessarily poverty, but like very much understanding like lower middle class, like
They
knowing
had to
the
budget.
people. Yeah, and she was like she's one of the people. She is one of the peasants, and so
Hmm. Hmm.
going home, like when she does eventually go home and meet the queen, and then realizes like what the queen's real motivations are, she's like, Absolutely not. Oh, does Faye have half siblings? That's an interesting
Ooh.
concept. That's an
I don't think
interesting.
any of them uh presented with the gift.
Yeah, yeah. And I
She
think that's
probably
why.
does for sure, but none of them have that
Yeah,
special ability.
I think she has maybe like an older sibling that you know is supposed to be heir, but is not.
Hmm.
So here's what I think, like story wise. It all starts and kind of coalesces into the sibling is made out to potentially be the big bad and potentially made out to be this villain. But when it's
Ooh,
revealed,
like the sibling in the court.
yeah, the sibling
Hmm.
from the Fey
Hmm.
world that then meets her and is like, "This is supposed to be my throne. This is supposed to be my thing." Um, but then
Oh my god, it does have changeling vibes from World of
changeling.
Darkness. You were absolutely correct.
I don't
Holy
know
shit, yes.
anything about changeling. Someone teach me. Let's put
Holy
this in a game.
fucking
Let's do it.
crap. Yes.
Yeah. Because I love the idea of the
100%.
story turning into, like, I love this idea of the story turning from, it's going to be sibling against sibling, like, this was my birthright, it was supposed to be my throne,
Hmm. Hmm.
to then Faye realizing, no, the queen is trying to, like, enslave the people that I'm from. So then it turns into Faye and this sibling, um, kind of joining forces to be like, this is wrong. Regardless of
Hmm.
whichever one of us takes the throne, Faye is not going to be your bridging the gap. She's instead going to turn into this, like, protector to make sure that the gap stays sealed. And they kind of, like, join forces to, like, work against mom. So there's a
Hmm.
whole generation being trained around the same age as Faye to be your army. Oh, that's fucked.
That's different. That's
That's interesting. Aurora's putting fucking fire into the chat right
Aurora. You're
now.
just out here.
Yeah,
Bam, bam,
Aurora's
bam,
on top of
bam.
it. Could also be the other Fae going through training, like the queen sent her fairies out to make children to raise an army. That's wild. But I think, like, yeah, because she is. So in that case, I think because, like, Faye, the character, is the queen's kid,
Hmm.
I think, like, she's the one who is, like, supposed to be trained to lead the army. She's supposed to be trained to become the monarch, to become the
Mm-hmm.
leader,
Hmm. That would
whereas
make sense.
all of the other little changelings, all of the other little half fae that are around the world that are training to become soldiers are training to be under her. They're training to follow Faye, which could blow up in the mom's face when Faye decides what you're doing is wrong and I'm instead going to lead this
Oh my
army
god,
to do something.
your mom calls you the black butterfly monarch.
Ooh. Okay, so if you notice in my stream, I got all these little doodles going on right here. That is because after each episode, what I will do is add a doodle
Aw,
related to that
cute.
episode. So the next episode, I will have a little drawing that is going to represent this particular episode, and I'm gonna draw like a goth monarch butterfly. That's what I'm gonna draw.
That's what your mom calls you.
Yeah,
Has
it's a.
armor pre-made for you, everything like that.
Mhm.
Expects you to wear it. You
It's
never
in,
touch it.
yeah, it's in full like obsidian black, beautiful, gorgeous, but it's
Mhm.
in like a very
Mhm. It's
monarch
got
butterfly
mother of
motif.
pearl inlay.
Oh my
Like,
god. Yeah.
oh,
And it's
I see
monarch
it.
butterfly motif, but it's all like black and
Mhm.
dark. And I think
Mhm.
when Faye does finally like rise up to go like, okay, you gave me an army, I get to tell them what to do.
I will use this.
Let's do it, and goes after mom, completely changes the motif. Actually, Penelope, with her ability to change appearance and shift and change the way things look, Penelope is the one, as a like gift for Faye, changes it to have the
Mhm.
motif of a real human world looking
Monarch.
monarch butterfly.
Yeah.
I just got chills. This
Yeah.
is so good. This is so good. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is beautiful.
But it's all made out of like amber.
Yes. It's amber and it's like, yeah, it's like very much like colors of like a sunset kind of thing. It's all orange and
Yeah.
gold. Very like sunny
Yeah.
and bright, and it's, this is beautiful. I love it. Yeah, I
Totally
love that.
opposite of what mommy expected.
This is not this is yeah this it's funny because this is not usually what like the point of this stream is for us to just build like the world. We don't really build like the story or the plot, but I love this storyline
Oh,
so much for these
here you
like
go.
scene ideas. Yeah, no, it's so
I have a
good.
whole plot.
Yeah, I'm so here for it because I can see it so visibly. It's so cinematic, and I can see it.
Hmm.
Honestly, I can see it almost as like being shot like a you know how like the Sci-Fi Channel will do like these mini series, like they did Alice,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
they did
yeah.
Tin Man, which was like the retelling of like
Yeah.
Wizard of Oz. I think this would be a great like Sci-Fi Channel miniseries. Yeah, I love it.
Yep.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah,
Yep.
the dreamscape ball scene is so good. Okay, so now I want to ask just to get gay with it. What do you think would be the thing that would get Penelope to realize that there are feelings behind this, not just duty?
Probably seeing Faye stand up to her mom for the first time. Um, because
Damn, that was
in
hot.
for
Yeah.
Penelope, no one has ever said no to the queen.
Yeah. She was like, someone can do that? I didn't think that was
You're
real.
allowed to do that? Well,
People can
fuck
do that?
this.
That's yeah. Excuse me? That's allowed?
Wait, you're not dead?
Yeah. Yeah, how are you still alive? Yeah. But then like pulls like after like a first like kind of confrontation, there's a moment where like they kind of walk away and they go to maybe like Faye and Penelope have created like their own like training grounds in this like astral space for
Hmm.
Faye. So they go
She
to
made
these
like
like
a liminal space for them outside
yes,
of
like
Mommy's touch.
their own kind of like pocket dimension that is specifically for like
Hmm.
their training grounds. They've turned it into now Faye does have a lot of control over what the space like looks and feels like too. So she's turned it from training ground into like it has to be some kind of like like yoga studio, you know, like something where it's like I need to calm down cuz I'm at like an 11 and I have to bring the energy down, you know what I mean? So she like
There's like singing bowls in there.
yeah, exactly. But even then, she's still like pacing back and forth and venting about like, I cannot believe that this is why I was here. I was here to raise an art. Like I was born because of this. This is insane and blah blah blah. And like is like just venting and is just mad and like doesn't have any way to deal with it. You know what I mean? So yeah, she's very much. I feel like this space of like, ah um
In that moment, Penelope would like recognize, be like, "Oh, humans need affection in times like this."
oh my god. It's this
She
is
was like,
very
"Give her a
much
hug." Like you'd be pacing.
not to add
And
too many like Castleton references into this, but like it's very much giving uh Emma as the Duchess going, when do we water them? Talking about the mortals.
yep, 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 yep.
yeah. Oh, gives her a hug is so cute. And I think like Faye genuinely like doesn't kind of hesitate in that moment and hugs her back, but in like a very it's less stiff and it's very like pulls her close, you know?
Aw,
And
it's
like kind of gives her a
loving.
very real
Uh,
affection. Yeah. Well, cuz she was raised by a good man. Like she was raised by her dumb dad joke dad, but he's like, you know, I think he's very much a good dad, a good person. We have
mm-hmm.
too many like bad dads in the space. We already
We
created
really
one
do.
ex-boyfriend who's an asshole. We don't need another. We need to show at least one good man in this show. You know what I mean?
Listen, listen. Good men exist.
they
You find
do.
them and you keep them.
exactly. Exactly. Oh my god, I love that. That honestly makes it more heartbreaking when because the dad is still kind of in love with the mom. The dad is still kind of in love with the queen and turns out the queen's kind of a bitch. Um I think like there is a moment in the like there is a moment where like the bridge the like a portal gets opened or there is kind of like a breaching of the worlds and the queen comes out and sees the dad again and
Penelope
like
does it as an act of defiance, inspired by Faye. She connects your Faye's dad to the queen.
Yes. Oh yeah, because maybe like maybe Faye wants to tell her dad, but is like,
I don't know how
scared,
to do this.
scared that he won't believe me, or scared that I don't want to hurt his feelings. I don't want to hurt him. And so Penelope is like, you're not the one hurting him, so I'm going to open this space so that but
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't know that I did it either, so that it's no one's fault. She's
No
going
one's
to be the
fault.
one to hurt him herself because she
Mm-hmm.
did this. And yeah, I like the dad giving the queen a piece of his mind. Yes, Aurora.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. The dad being
Like,
like,
you fucking bitch.
yeah,
What?
the dad being like, I'm not going to first off, my daughter is her own woman and she can make her own decisions, and
Mm-hmm.
I raised her to be a good fucking person.
My daughter is not a tool to be used.
Yeah. She's also not going to turn into a fucking tyrant. If you wanted
Yeah.
someone who was going to lord over the peasants, you shouldn't have had a kid with one of the peasants. Yeah. I love that. He literally calls himself and Faye peasants as an act of we're fucking proud to be that. We're proud to be part of the
Oh
one of the
yeah.
people. I love that big act of defiance. Oh, it's so
Love
good.
that.
Oh, that can be how the big ending, how the BBEG is slain, of she's about to go after and attack the dad because she's so mad that things are not going her way, that Faye is just like, nope.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Even better though, even better is if instead if she goes after and tries to attack Faye because she was like, this was a mistake. I'm just going to deal with the problem myself. And Penelope is the one to do it.
Penelope stabs her in the back.
Literally. And the only reason she does that is to protect um Faye. And that is also how Faye realizes you like me back.
I didn't understand the human feeling before, but I think I get it now.
Faye kisses Penelope.
Ah!
Ah! mm. Fabulous opportunity to explore cultural themes in multiple languages. You're so right, actually.
Agreed.
There can be, you know what? That's really interesting, is if there is we're in the dad being a POC.
I would love. Yes.
Yeah.
I love that so
the
much.
The dad being Hispanic or something like that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think so that I'm just gonna keep naming different pieces of media that I want to inspire this, and be like, okay, let's throw some In the Heights in here too. It's all references to musicals. I love musicals so much. Yeah, oh, maybe that's it. Maybe the dad is Latino and runs a bodega or something like that. Runs a local.
Oh, that'd be
store.
cool.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun. And then
oh, he raised Faye on a healthy diet of musical theater.
Yes. Absolutely. You are correct. Yeah, old world versus new world. Yeah, no, literally. I love the idea of that. Well, also that can be a really interesting thing to explore, of maybe Penelope shows oh, our world has lots of different influences in the human world and vice versa, because
oh, I'm sure the first time that Faye ever actually experienced the fairy world, or any of that, it was culturally overwhelming, because there are so many so many differences in the way people look and act and talk and whatnot, that I'm sure it would be super overwhelming.
But I also think because Faye was raised in Faye was raised in New York, going into the Fae world and seeing all these different species, seeing all these different types of Fae, and all these different people speaking in weird Fae, fantasy languages and stuff. For her, it feels really normal, because she could go out to a store and see two people talking in Russian, walk outside and two guys talking in Spanish to each other at the same time. It's very, she's raised in this mecca of culture and diversity, that she's just this is normal. Yeah. Gotta go do dinner. Thank you, Aurora, for coming in the street. You have
Thank
given us like
you.
you've thrown so much cool inspo and cool like story into this. So thank you
Hmm.
for being a part of this. Um, yeah, I think. Oh, so something I was gonna say is like, I love the idea of because you started this with saying that Penelope's a specter. What if what we in the human world in this story think of ghosts is actually all like
All the
little
specters.
shadow interactions. So like
Hmm.
but so then if you go to a neighborhood that is primarily like Hispanic, um all of the fae and specters that live in that area in that plane that kind of sits on top of the human world are
Hmm.
all like, you know, they have a lot of cultural like similarities. Like maybe in the fae plane, a lot of their like decor, a lot of their food, a lot of the
Hmm.
things in that spiritual world have a lot of different,
So what
a
if,
lot of similarities to
um,
like that culture there.
whatever, like for example, let's say Little Havana,
Yeah,
um, it all of that concentration of Cubans in one area
yeah,
just kind of bring in their own spirits. So they, in
yes,
the Fae
yeah,
world, they start inhabiting that space because it feels comfortable for them.
yeah. Because what I imagine is like the way I imagine this, I'm bringing a lot of my own like personal kind of witchy beliefs, and I knew that we were gonna do this. I knew that it was gonna get witchy here because I have you in the stream, so I'm bringing a lot of my
Hmm.
own personal like practice into this. Of like the way I imagine it is like the Fae, this astral world, and the human world are occupying the same space but on top of each other,
Hmm. Hmm.
and so there are just certain like boundaries that they can't like cross, but sometimes they do. So like if you were going to go to, let's say, if you were going to go to Chinatown, right, in
Hmm.
the human world, if you were going to, in the Fae or this magic world, to that same geographical location that sits on top of Chinatown, you're going to see a lot of Chinese folklore and magic and
Yes.
creatures sitting in that same
100%.
space. Yeah. So, like,
100%.
if you were going to go
Hmm.
to an Irish neighborhood, you would probably go and see a lot of Celtic, you know,
Hmm.
fae and things like that. If you were gonna go to like an Italian neighborhood, same thing. And it's all like because it all sits next to each other and that energy all coalesces into the same and like kind of bleeds into the different spaces, vice versa. But it becomes like a chicken and the egg thing because it's like humans believe these things because of strange supernatural experiences of their ancestors, whereas the magic world, like, are these things created because of strong enough human belief? Or is it because of their. So it kind of all happened at the same time, and it just.
Hmm.
You can't historically figure out the origin, you just have to accept, like, this is how. This is just the way it
This is
works.
what it is. Deal
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But then of course there's the queen who's like, no, we're gonna
No,
change
I want to
things,
rule
but
over the humans.
And this idea of like everyone from like both sides of the human side and the magic side who all are like allies of Fae or have like either been told to follow Fae or whatever. They're all just like, that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I feel like anyone, any practitioner within among these groups of people,
Yeah.
anyone who has some sort of connection to the realm,
Yeah.
Penelope would have been cropped up in their dreams and be like, "Hey, so this is going on. Be ready."
Yes.
Like
Like
helped you gather an army, like helped
yeah.
Faye gather
I
an
think
army.
like after the first meeting from Penelope, like Faye goes to the nearest like crystal shop and like starts
Mhm.
becoming friends with all the crystal girlies in the neighborhood kind of thing, goes to the nearest like, you know, which metaphysical store, buys a bunch of
Mhm.
books. Penelope, like in her dream space, she brings the books with her so that like when she's reading, Penelope can tell her like what's bullshit, what's accurate, what does make sense, what doesn't make sense, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like figure out like which authors know what they're talking about and are real,
Mhm.
figure out which ones aren't. Some of the authors are actually like magic creatures from the magic world that just decided to put books in the human world for funsies. Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, figure out where the intersection in the Venn diagram is actually.
Yes.
I love it. Oh, it's so good. Uh, we've created such a good like story here, and it makes me so
This
happy.
is fun.
Yeah, this
This is
is
a cool world. I hope someone does something with this. I mean, I personally won't because I don't view myself as like a super great storyteller. Uh,
well, if
I'm gonna
I
be so honest, but
yeah,
I hope someone
well,
does something with this.
either I'm gonna write this story as a short story, but the
Aw.
point of this show is to show that I'm not quite a novelist. I just like coming up with the stories. I'm an ideas guy. There's a reason I named this show what I did.
No, I'm here for it. I
yeah,
love that as someone who's just a fountain of like ideas.
yeah, yeah.
Uh I love concepts like this of just being like, let's build a world.
Yeah. Well, that's so literally, I named this show Not Quite Novelist before I started getting into TTRPGs because I only started playing D&D like less than 2 years ago. Um,
Mhm.
but I came up with the name for this because I was on a FaceTime call with my friend where I was talking about like I would love to see like I love role play. I love like writing stories, but like I'll do it in a way if I do like text RP with my friends like over like
Mhm.
DMs or text or whatever. I learned to like role play and doing that stuff before I knew the word RP or role play existed. Because I was 11 on a flip phone writing little characters and stuff. um, and it just always stuck. And but I do not have the follow through or the commitment to actually write a full novel. But I know I can
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
make good characters, tell good stories. I know I can do these things. Um, so I have the like not quite novelist, but still a storyteller kind of. That's why the name is what it is. It's all about I like having the ooh what if statements. I like
Mhm.
ooh what if the queen is the BBEG? Ooh what if this character can only interact through dreams? It's that like I wanted to create a space of pure inspiration and pure creativity and pure just
I
like
love
having
that.
ideas because I'm an ideas guy. Um and so that's why I named it what I did. If I can figure out a game where I can put Penelope and Faye, I fucking will.
Hell yeah. Let me know.
100%.
I will absolutely
Yeah.
build her out.
Anyone who knows how to play Changeling and knows the rules, teach me, and let's write a story. Let's tell a story. It'll be fun.
No.
Yeah. My dream is to uh, have guests that are from like TTRPG, like actual play channels, where I can like build characters in our session and then turn around and go on their channel to collab and do like, okay, let's
Aw.
play a one shot with the characters we created.
With these characters.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
my dream.
I love that.
That's my life goal. If the first time that happens, I'm just gonna start crying. Like that's my ultimate like the thing I want to manifest is I want to be able to play like even like if it is just a one shot or like a mini thing. I would love to be able to play some of the characters that I create in these episodes because
Mhm.
people are creating good shit. Like we had some good characters. Before I do, we're kind of almost at our like 2 hour mark. So before I do like a recap of this episode, just to tell you kind of what these over here, what these like little doodles mean here. Um, this one here was from when I did Alien Carnival with Diana of the Rose. And
Okay. Hell yeah.
the story behind this doodle is that this carnival in space is like a spaceship that's traveling, but very much how, very much like how the D8 dice is two pyramids ass to ass. This ship is two big tops ass to ass.
Love that. Love
I
that.
maybe said that like 15 times in that or in that episode, and now I just
Ass
want a
to ass.
T-shirt with that. Um, the one in the little
Make it.
corner down there is
Mhm.
from the pilot, the very first live stream that I tragically lost the VOD to with Story
Aw.
Dad, where we created. Funny enough, he did not create a himbo that hits good like he usually does. He made someone who was actually like
Wrong with
very
him.
intelligent. It was more like the fantasy version of like a computer hacker, but in this it's very much
Mhm.
what do you call it? He called it a rune breaker. So like someone who's really good at like picking locks, getting into like safes and locked
Oh, that's
doors and
cool.
getting past like wards, magical wards. They were also a very will they won't they kind of story because ships.
Mhm.
And so I did a little heart-shaped lock with a little rune on there. And then
Cute.
this one down here is I took the general shape of the R from Iron Maiden, but turned it into an elephant because we
Mhm.
made the theme was rock stars in high fantasy, and so what we did was we created a metal band that consisted of three gnomish triplets and a loxodon drummer, an elephant girl, uh, and their band was called Iron Faden.
That's fantastic.
We had so
Yes.
many good like D&D pun, like D&D metal puns.
Mhm.
Instead of Judas Priest, we had Judas Cleric.
Okay.
We had that one was one of my favorites actually. And instead of Twisted Sister, we did Twisted Sealy. Yeah. So it was very like fairly. So what I did was I made a heavy metal, or I made a an elephant with kiss makeup to add the rock aspect. But the three earrings that you see are little mushrooms, and those represent the three Gnomish sisters.
Fuck yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
So now on this one, I think I'm gonna do like a maybe like a black monarch butterfly, or maybe I'll do one that's like a monarch butterfly, but one side is all of the like black and white, and the other side is the normal monarch
That would be pretty.
color. I think that'll be very pretty. I love it.
That would be pretty.
Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, we're almost kind of at the 2 hour mark, so I think we've created something really, really solid here. So I'm gonna give our little recap, and then I guess we'll find someone to rate out to. So what we've created here, what we've got is in a world where in normal New York, very busy city life, there's one girl, Faye, who realizes or knows that she has very strong and intense dreams, has learned how to meditate and manifest and manipulate this like meditative space for herself, this dreamscape. Um, until randomly, within her dream space, after a very messy breakup with her real life boyfriend, gets approached by a random Fae woman who tells her that her dreams and meditations are not just dreams, and in fact, interacting with a very real magical realm. And in a very Princess Diaries esque moment, uh, tells
You're
her
a
that
long
she
lost
is,
princess.
in fact, the princess of this magical space.
Mhm.
Which her mom had this child giving her to her mortal human father to be raised in the human world um, for her own particular purposes. Um, which is to bridge the gap between the human and the magical world, not in any kind of diplomatic way, but only to take over the humans. Which you gotta have a big bad somewhere.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta
Also,
do.
also Penelope and Faye are gay for each other. That's what we got. So,
Mhm.
howdy, here from the. Oh my gosh, hello! You're one of. I love to see wugs in the chat. We're actually just now finishing up. I'm so sorry. We're about to find someone to raid out to. But you will be able to see the VOD here, here on Twitch, or probably by the end of the night, it will be posted up to YouTube on Not Quite Nautilus. But Misfit, thank you so much for being my guest today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes,
It was
and
really fun.
thank you again for being a part of my very first sponsored stream.
Good help.
Once again, if anybody wants to go and see, go and order some merch with your own designer logo, use the code Not Quite Nautilus to get 50 free stickers when you go. All right, Misfit, where can everybody find you on the internet? Where are people gonna find all the fun stuff you're doing?
I am literally everywhere on the internet. It's misfit_playland. And I am going to steal this moment to say that the Crit Awards just dropped their categories for this year. And as a board member, it would be terrible of me to not talk about that for 5 seconds. Please go check out the Crit Awards. And please think of Not Quite Novelist here when you're doing your nominations, because you can do that.
I
Um,
would die. I could not even imagine getting nominated. Like, even getting nominated, I could not even imagine.
but you have a shot because this is really cool.
Because I'm a
So,
show in the TTRPG space now.
you are a show with TTRPG space. Therefore, you deserve to be nominated. So,
You're
I'm
so
here to
sweet.
say go check out the categories. Go think of all of your favorite people within the space that
Yes.
you would like to nominate. And we keep a lookout on those socials for when nominations go live.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for being a part of this show. This was so much fun. I'm gonna let you. You know what? I'm gonna let you pick who we are gonna
Oh, I
write
have no
out
idea who's
to.
on.
Let's
Give
find
me a
out.
list.
Let's see. Who do I follow that's live? I need to go through all the like Castleton friends that are live and see what's up. Um.
I have no idea who's live.
You know what? Rin is live. Let's go rate out Rin.
Friend, let's
Yes.
go.
Um. What should we say in the chat to go and bother Rin? I don't know.
The fairies come to invade. I don't know.
Oh no, you know what was the PSA from earlier this session? It was toxic men are only
Uh,
hot when they're fictional.
Toxic men are only hot when they're fictional. Yes,
Maybe
that
I
is a
should do
great raid quote.
maybe every raid quote should just be whatever my look into the camera PSA was for this session, which is this
Yes.
one is gonna be toxic men are only hot when they're fictional. Okay. Let's go ahead and start this raid.
Let's fucking go.
Let's
Do, do,
go.
do.